Anne Baxter, a trailblazer who captivated audiences with her unquestionable brilliance and imposing on-screen persona, was more than just a Hollywood star. Fans were left in awe of Anne's unrepentant attitude to celebrity, as she charmed hearts while defying expectations in performances that stretched boundaries. Baxter's career was anything but typical, from her captivating presence in The Ten Commandments to her iconic portrayal in All About Eve. Beyond the movie screen, however, her life was full of shocking revelations and unexpected turns that even her biggest fans were shocked by. Why was Anne so captivating to the world? Learn the fascinating tale of Anne Baxter, a legendary figure who never failed to keep admirers guessing. Anne Baxter's early years. Anne Baxter was born in Michigan City, Indiana, on May 7, 1923, and was raised in an environment that combined artistic influence with luxury. In addition to being a well-known architect, her grandfather, Frank Lloyd Wright, inspired her and fostered her early artistic tendencies. When Anne was 6, her family relocated to New York City, putting her close to Broadway's bustle. Anne's love for acting was sparked by the opportunity to see Helen Hayes play Victoria Regina, a desire she zealously pursued. Anne began taking acting lessons when she was 10 years old, developing her skills under the tutelage of renowned teachers. Even though she didn't get the part, her raw promise was shown at 13 at an Alfred Hitchcock audition. These early years demonstrated Anne's unwavering will to succeed, laying the groundwork for a career permanently altering Hollywood's golden age. The casting story behind The Razor's Edge. The path to Anne Baxter's Academy Award-winning performance in The Razor's Edge, 1946, was far from simple. At first, Sophie MacDonald, a figure characterized by sad vulnerability, was being examined by major Hollywood studios. But Anne's audition turned out to be a revelation. She was so genuine in portraying Sophie's suffering and tenacity that even the author of the book, W. Somerset Maugham, said she was the ideal choice. Interestingly, Anne prepared thoroughly, using her personal experiences to relate to Sophie's struggles. In addition to landing the role, her commitment garnered considerable praise from critics. Because of her powerful performance, Anne became the youngest recipient of the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress at that time. This part was a game-changer, converting Anne from a budding actress into a celebrity who could win over both the public and critics. Anne Baxter's rise to stardom. Anne Baxter's ascent in Hollywood was evidence of her steadfast dedication to her art. Her breakthrough came with The Magnificent Ambersons, 1942, following modest beginnings in 20 Mule Team, 1940. Anne's nuanced performance, directed by Orson Welles, demonstrated her capacity to portray profound emotional complexity. Critics praised her for the portrayal, which cemented her image as a serious actress. Anne quickly gained recognition in Hollywood, landing high-profile parts in movies like Crash Dive, 1943, and The Razor's Edge, 1946. Not only was Anne a growing celebrity by the middle of the 1940s, but she was also well-known. Her career path demonstrated her extraordinary talent and her careful selection of assignments showcasing her versatility. Anne's rise was marked by her unwavering pursuit of perfection in a field that frequently aimed to mold actresses into predetermined roles. The iconic role in All About Eve. The performance of Anne Baxter as Eve Harrington in All About Eve, 1950, is still regarded as a masterpiece of acting. Anne performed full of nuance and accuracy as a strong young actress who is ambitious and crafty and wants to take over her mentor. Anne performed the job flawlessly, which required a precise balancing act between manipulation and vulnerability. Despite being on screen with icons like Bette Davis, Anne was able to shine just as brightly and was nominated for Best Actress at the Academy Awards. Interestingly, the casting was coincidental. Anne first tried out for another part before persuading director Joseph L. Mankiewicz that she was ideal for Eve. The movie became an immediate classic, and performers and filmmakers still study Anne's performance. Beyond the honors, All About Eve demonstrated Anne's flexibility and star power by showcasing her ability to command attention in ensemble casts. Thanks to this role, she became a permanent presence in the canon of Hollywood greats, which cemented her legend. The marriages and breakups. Anne Baxter experienced both heartbreak and passion in her romantic life. Her first marriage to actor John Hodiak appeared to be a Hollywood dream, but it ended because of their conflicting personalities and the demands of celebrity. A significant change in Anne's way of life occurred with her second marriage to rancher Randolph Galt. Anne sought refuge from the glamour of Hollywood by relocating to a secluded property in Australia. However, the seclusion became difficult, and they eventually got divorced. She briefly had bliss with her third marriage to investment banker David Klee, but it ended tragically when he died a year later. Anne sought steadiness to balance her job's turmoil, reflected in her relationships. She persevered despite the difficulties and frequently included her hardships in her performances, enhancing their emotional impact. Anne's struggles as a mother. For Anne Baxter, juggling a rigorous Hollywood career with motherhood presented many difficulties. With 3 children, Katrina, Melissa, and Maginal, Anne was a dedicated mother who frequently put her family's needs ahead of her career goals. Anne relocated to an Australian ranch during her second marriage to give her kids a more straightforward, grounded upbringing. However, as her daughters explained, there was sometimes a feeling of separation due to her work obligations. Although Anne loved her kids unconditionally, she was greatly burdened by the responsibilities of both family and celebrity. Despite these challenges, Anne enjoyed being a mother and frequently talked about how her girls gave her the willpower to keep going. Her tale was sad and realistic since her experience as a mother reflected the more immense struggles experienced by working women. The Feud with Bette Davis. Hollywood legends are based on the conflict between Anne Baxter and Bette Davis on the set of All About Eve, 1950. According to reports, Davis was leery of Anne because of her fiery temper and strong presence, which threatened to eclipse her own as a rising star. For her part, Anne refused to be frightened by Davis's controlling demeanor and stood her ground. Their fascinating off-screen rivalry enhanced their on-screen connection, making their performances even more captivating. It's interesting that Anne later played down the feud, blaming the rumors on the demands of making a well-known movie. Notwithstanding their differences, both women gave performances that defined their careers, and their relationship is still a significant factor in the movie's ongoing popularity. Long after its premiere, viewers were captivated by this behind-the-scenes drama, which only strengthened All About Eve's mythology. Anne's bold career choices. A defining characteristic of Anne Baxter's career was her determination to push herself. She sought jobs as bold as they were varied, refusing to be constrained by Hollywood's preconceptions. In addition to its intricacy, her portrayal of Eve Harrington in All About Eve is still renowned for its moral and ambitious critique. Similarly, her portrayal in The Razor's Edge deviated sharply from the glitz typical of leading ladies of her time by examining issues of loss and atonement. Biblical epics like The Ten Commandments, where Anne played the crafty Queen Nefertiti, showcased her bravery. Her decisions frequently sparked controversy, with detractors questioning her bravery and adaptability. However, her capacity to switch between femme fatales, heroines, and anti-heroes demonstrated a unique flexibility. Although these risks weren't always profitable, they cemented her status as a trailblazer who put art above tradition and encouraged future actors to follow their artistic inclinations. Controversies surrounding her career. There were some contentious debates during Anne Baxter's tenure. She was frequently at the heart of arguments because she took on parts that challenged convention. For instance, some people criticized her performance as Nefertiti in The Ten Commandments, arguing that her character's sexuality was too daring for a biblical epic. Her decision to portray ethically nuanced or imperfect women frequently contradicted the time's preference for idealized female leads. Off-screen, Anne caused controversy when she briefly left Hollywood to live on a ranch with her second husband, which was interpreted as a rejection of stardom. Critics questioned if her daring professional choices were motivated by rebellion or ambition. Anne remained unwavering despite the controversies, arguing that her artistic choices reflected her dedication to conveying real stories. Instead of impeding her, these problems enhanced her legacy and made her a source of admiration and intrigue. Anne Baxter's role in the Ten Commandments. In a time of opulent epics, Anne Baxter's performance as Nefertiti in The Ten Commandments, 1956, was pivotal in her career. Under Cecil B. DeMille's careful guidance, Anne created a captivating presence on screen. Her role, who was caught between power and love, was essential to the movie's dramatic tension. Charlton Heston, Yul Brynner, and Anne had a captivating on-screen connection that deepened the film's intricate love triangle. The production itself was enormous, with elaborate sets and costumes that required Anne to provide a performance worthy of the opulence of the movie. Some critics praised her portrayal of vulnerability and royalty, while others questioned whether the part required too much melodrama. However, despite the star-studded ensemble, viewers were enthralled by Anne's mastery of the screen. Decades later, her performance in one of Hollywood's most famous movies is still memorable, demonstrating her capacity to shine even in a group of exceptionally talented actors. Anne's fight against typecasting. Anne Baxter was a renegade in a field that frequently constrained actresses to minor roles. She looked for characters with nuance and complexity, rejecting the time's propensity to stereotype women as either seductresses or saints. Anne demonstrated her ability to move across various identities, from the sly Eve Harrington in All About Eve to the distraught Sophie in The Razor's Edge. Her dedication to various roles occasionally came at a price. She frequently lost out on lucrative possibilities when she turned down conventional roles. Anne's decisions demonstrated her conviction that acting should meet the audience's expectations and explore human experience. In addition to creating a varied resume, her refusal to fit into any category opened the door for other actors to expect more from their careers. Anne's career demonstrates the strength of shattering stereotypes and remaining loyal to one's art. Anne Baxter's unique acting style. A welcome change from the theatricality of her contemporaries, Anne Baxter's performance was frequently characterized as naturalistic and introspective. Whether it was the feisty Sophie MacDonald or the cunning Eve Harrington, she had a remarkable talent for giving her characters an emotional reality. The foundation of Anne's strategy was her knowledge of human psychology, which she attributed to her early acting teachers. Using delicate gestures and facial expressions to portray nuanced emotions, she felt that sometimes less was more. Critics praised her understated yet powerful style, which set her apart from other prominent women of the Golden Age. Anne's ability to thoroughly embrace a character, making even the most unlikable characters relatable, was frequently lauded by directors. Her dedication to sincerity struck a chord with spectators in every role she did and made a lasting impression. In addition to elevating her performances, Anne's distinct style impacted how complex female characters were portrayed in Hollywood. The scandal that shook Hollywood. As is frequently the case with Hollywood celebrities, Anne Baxter's personal life occasionally touched on scandal. A supposed affair with a well-known director during the height of her career was the subject of one of the most notorious rumors. The tabloids were unrelenting in their speculation about Anne's romances and how they affected her career despite her silence. Her reputation was in danger of being damaged by the scandal, but Anne's unflinching professionalism got her through it. She concentrated on her profession and gave outstanding performances that made people remember why she was so famous. It's interesting to note that Anne later incorporated elements of her own life, including the scandals, into her acting, giving her parts a more realistic feel. Even though it was challenging, the episode demonstrated her fortitude and capacity to rise above the conflict. Anne's extraordinary talent and lasting legacy today outweigh the controversy, which is now a footnote in an otherwise remarkable career. Anne's friendship with Gregory Peck. Anne Baxter treasured her friendship with Gregory Peck in both her personal and professional life. Their on-screen chemistry suggested a closer relationship when they first met while filming Yellow Sky, 1948. Off-screen, they were liked by their coworkers because they respected each other's work and had a similar sense of humor. Gregory frequently praised Anne's devotion and generosity, while Anne respected Gregory's modesty despite his celebrity. Their friendship inspired rumors of romance, although both insisted it was only platonic. Gregory frequently referred to her as a breath of fresh air in Hollywood, while Anne praised him as a source of wisdom during trying times. Their relationship was a prime example of the uncommon, sincere bonds that can form in a field frequently characterized by rivalry. Their friendship is still a well-loved story in Hollywood legend decades later, demonstrating the strength of friendship and respect for one another. Her brief stint on Broadway. Anne Baxter practiced on Broadway before taking over Hollywood. She demonstrated her ability to enthrall a live audience in a significant role in the drama Seen But Not Heard. There was a specific discipline involved in performing on stage, and Anne fully embraced it. Theater required spontaneity and resiliency, which Anne incorporated into her subsequent screen work, in contrast to the regulated setting of film. Her little stint on Broadway had a profound effect on her acting technique. Anne frequently discussed how stage acting's instantaneity allowed her to relate to her characters more deeply. Even though her main stage subsequently shifted to Hollywood, Anne's passion for theater never diminished. She acknowledged that her Broadway career served as the cornerstone of her career, molding her into a brave and adaptable actress who would make a lasting impression on the film industry. Anne Baxter as a trailblazer for women in film. In addition to being a Hollywood Golden Age star, Anne Baxter was a trailblazer for women in film. Anne sought multifaceted, complicated characters at a time when girls were frequently cast as attractive arm candy or in supporting roles. She refused to play parts that undervalued women's voices and utilized her power to advocate for screenplays with strong female leads. Behind the scenes, Anne boldly challenged the current status quo in interviews and private conversations with studio officials, speaking out against the gender gap in Hollywood. In addition to gaining her praise, her perseverance opened the door for later actors to pursue parts that defied cliches. Because she taught other women in the profession how to stand up for themselves in a field dominated by males, Anne's influence went beyond only her acting career. By remaining steadfast and loyal to her beliefs, Anne had a lasting impression on Hollywood and ensured that women's experiences were told on the big screen. The roles she turned down. Although Anne Baxter had an almost unrivaled talent for selecting substantial parts, she didn't hesitate to decline assignments that didn't align with her creative vision or morals. Her refusal to accept a leading role in a popular movie that became a critical and financial triumph is among the most notable. Many viewed this as a career hazard, but Anne felt that art should have a purpose and be profitable. A role must challenge me or tell a story worth sharing. Otherwise, I'd betray myself, she once said. Despite pressure from the studio, Anne's determination remained unwavering. Interestingly, her refusal became a topic of discussion, igniting debates over an actor's right to prioritize morality over notoriety. Her reputation as one of Hollywood's most morally upright celebrities was further cemented by her choice, emphasizing her dedication to quality over quantity. Her love for writing. A lesser-known aspect of Anne Baxter's artistic life was her passion for writing, which she fostered in addition to her thriving acting career. Anne would write essays, short stories, and personal comments in her journals on location or between assignments. She found solace in writing, which allowed her to express her feelings and ideas in language. Her unpublished compositions frequently explored human resilience and identity issues, which particularly appealed to her. She is a gifted writer with a knack for moving narratives, as seen by a look into her archives. Even though none of her works were published while she was alive, her writings have subsequently shed light on her inquisitive and reflective personality. Once, Anne's daughter referred to her mother's notebooks as a window into her soul, encapsulating the reflective, contemplative side of a woman who is frequently characterized by her glitzy public persona. Anne's unexpected move to television. Anne Baxter boldly shifted to television, viewed as a secondary medium to film at the time, as the glitzy golden age of Hollywood faded. She welcomed the change, appearing in compelling television films and as a guest star in well-known shows like Columbo and Batman. Her decision was motivated by a sincere desire to try storytelling in a format that could reach millions of homes rather than by necessity. Although some commentators thought this change was a step backward, Anne's performances stopped them. She demonstrated versatility by bringing the same depth and emotion to her TV parts as her movie characters. Her performance of Olga, Queen of the Cossacks in Batman, stands out as a noteworthy appearance. It was a lovely and campy change from her typical role. According to Anne, television broke down barriers between celebrities and viewers by enabling her to reach a wider audience. Her reputation as her triumph on the tiny screen cemented a versatile actress who flourished in any media. The final years of her career. Toward the end of her career, Anne Baxter enjoyed parts that were more about content than show. Although she no longer pursued the successful movies of her youth, she tended to work on projects that allowed her to train new performers and develop characters with depth. Her subsequent roles in smaller independent motion pictures demonstrated a profound grace and wisdom gained over many years of practice. Anne also spent time instructing acting classes, giving young actors priceless advice. Introspection and an emphasis on creation rather than celebrity characterized these years. As Anne once said, "The spotlight fades, but the love for the craft endures." Her love of telling stories continued to shine in her last roles, enthralling audiences and demonstrating that genuine craftsmanship is ageless. She left the stage on her terms because of her uncompromising dedication to her profession, leaving behind a body of work that still inspires. Anne Baxter's tumultuous marriages. Anne Baxter had a colorful personal life like the characters she played on screen. She had 3 marriages, each representing a distinct phase in her life. The strain of juggling 2 well-known jobs characterized her first marriage to actor John Hodiak, which ended in a cordial divorce. Randolph Galt, her second husband, exposed Anne to a simple lifestyle on a secluded property in Australia. Although she enjoyed the respite from the turmoil of Hollywood, the pair eventually split up because of the seclusion. Sadly, Anne's third marriage to investment banker David Klee was short-lived, as he passed away unexpectedly after only a year. Anne persevered in the face of these disruptions, incorporating her experiences into her career and bringing up her 3 children with unflinching commitment. Her turbulent romantic life served as evidence of her resilience, demonstrating that she managed to flourish even in the face of heartbreak. Her feud with Bette Davis. Rumors of real-life animosity between Anne Baxter and Bette Davis in All About Eve spread like wildfire because of their intense on-screen hostility. Both ladies were formidable performers, and conflicts frequently resulted from their divergent approaches. It is said that the brazen and outspoken Bette was annoyed by Anne's meticulous and subdued preparation. According to one notorious tale, Bette thought Anne was trying to get equal billing, resulting in heated arguments on the set. Nevertheless, the conflict enhanced their performances, and crowds and critics were enthralled with their competition. When Anne looked back on the incident decades later, she attributed the alleged feud to the pressure of making a movie that required perfection. Regardless of the reality, their chemistry is still evidence of their extraordinary skill and professionalism. Anne's struggles with Hollywood politics. Anne Baxter was not afraid to challenge Hollywood's inflexible systems. She regularly argued for more equitable compensation and creative chances, challenging how the studio structure treated women. Anne fought being typecast and frequently turned down parts that lacked nuance or depth, in contrast to many other actresses of her era. Though she sometimes clashed with influential studio executives due to her outspoken character, Anne never wavered in her beliefs. Her insistence on changing parts of a movie that she believed compromised the integrity of her character was one such example. Many were afraid that this audacious move would jeopardize her career. However, Anne's campaigning helped women's roles in Hollywood gradually change, and her tenacity inspired her peers. She is now regarded as a trailblazer who championed artistic liberty. The tragic passing of Anne Baxter. The entertainment industry was devastated by Anne Baxter's untimely death in 1985. She was going down Madison Avenue in New York City when she suffered a brain aneurysm at the age of 62. Anne never regained consciousness, even after being taken to the hospital. Fans and coworkers were startled by her death, as many recalled her as a lively and active presence on and off television. Peers praised her talent, tenacity, and charity in worldwide tributes. In addition to her renowned performances, Anne's kindness and grace made a lasting impression on everyone she interacted with. Her legacy is still upheld by her daughters, who frequently spoke of her wisdom and constant support. The beauty and humanity Anne gave to each part are still evident in her work. Anne's enduring legacy. Beyond her most well-known parts, Anne Baxter has made numerous contributions to the film industry. She is credited as a trailblazer by contemporary actors whose performances reflect her influence. As evidence of her cultural influence, the Anne Baxter Theater in her native Michigan provides a venue for young artists to refine their profession. Her classic roles, which highlight her ability to play nuanced, multidimensional characters, are frequently taught in film schools. Anne's position in film history has been cemented by her ability to successfully traverse Hollywood's changing terrain from the Golden Age to television. Audiences are still moved by her classic performances, demonstrating the enduring nature of her ability and legacy. The controversial memoir. Intermission, A True Story, Anne Baxter's memoir, provided an honest and unvarnished look into her life, both inside and outside Hollywood. Her turbulent marriages, job setbacks, and choice to live on an Australian ranch during her second marriage were all covered in the 1976 book. Some commended Anne's openness and referred to her as a trailblazer for bringing up subjects that many celebrities of her time shunned. Some accused her of sensationalizing her private life and condemned her for disclosing too much. The memoir, which gave fans a unique look into the thoughts of a Golden Age star, became a bestseller despite the unfavorable reviews. It is still a compelling book that captures Anne's humor, wit, and fortitude as she dealt with the highs and lows of celebrity. Anne Baxter's influence on modern actresses. Generations of actresses have been influenced by Anne Baxter's unafraid playing style and support of significant parts. Her commitment to playing nuanced, multi-layered characters established a benchmark for performance honesty. Anne's work has been acknowledged as an influence by contemporary celebrities like Jessica Chastain and Cate Blanchett, especially for her nuanced roles in The Razor's Edge and All About Eve. Actresses could take charge of their careers because of Anne's ability to quickly move between stage, television, and cinema. Furthermore, the foundation for the current drive toward equitable representation was established by her support of gender equality in Hollywood. The innumerable actors who continue pushing limits and questioning the existing status quo are examples of Anne's legacy. The revival of Anne's films. Thanks to the Internet age, a new generation of followers has discovered Anne Baxter's remarkable work. Classics like All About Eve, The Razor's Edge, and The Ten Commandments are now widely available thanks to streaming services, which have rekindled interest in her work. Retrospectives of her work are frequently shown at film festivals, presenting her talent to younger audiences. Critics regularly praise her performances as acting workshops. Reissued versions of her movies with commentary and behind-the-scenes videos have also resulted from the resurgence in interest, giving viewers a better understanding of her work. The fact that Anne Baxter's performances continue to enthrall and inspire audiences worldwide is evidence that great talent endures.
If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon